I'm sort of in this 1980s style punk post-industrial area over here underneath the train tracks, and just paying attention to this goose that's dead center here. I think it's looking for a mate or waiting for a mate to come back, the way it was squawking earlier. And this is not the nicest of areas, but I want you to see how punk this place looks. So hopefully my bike will still be there in a minute or so. At any rate, I wanted to talk about briefly the topic of subduing your own power, because this came about in my tarot card reading for myself the other day. And I mean, we're always sort of in limbo, aren't we? You know, looking for something else, and then as soon as you attain or obtain a particular end, it's on to something else. And I'm fairly grateful for what I have. I try to itemize what has gone right or the long-term benefits of things that seem to go wrong. And often your choices were more correct than you thought, once you can piece together a narrative of all the events of your life. But my tarot cards were saying to me, and I really can't remember which cards they configured into being, but oh, here are the honeysuckles for this year. They're finally with us now, the blossoms. But the cards said for the next few months, no goal or definition of a goal in sight. And then late this year, there's supposed to be an explosion of activity and good fortune and justification for everything. And that's what I want to hear, since I'm turning 30 this year. 30 seems to be the number of pressure and having everything come through. And I'm not sure if there's a biological reason for that, or if it's totally a social pressure that's been there for a while, or if it's part of the hyper-capitalist phase we're living in right now. And I'm not anti-capitalist, by the way, but we are in a hyper-capitalist state of austerity and so forth. But I've noticed that most people, out of the functioning within mores, or because of the contaminated food they're eating, or limitations pressed on by family, they're just not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. And at the same time, that doesn't mean that half of the people are supposed to be famous or extremely wealthy, but we get sort of derailed by whatever mainstream culture is. And some of my family may be watching at some point, and I don't mean to dismiss anybody else's way of life or choice any more than they will for me, because never has anyone ever called me out on anything or made me feel bad for my choices in a direct way. However, I do feel as though being totally wrapped around reproduction, mainstream Hollywood films, and music contest shows, just I don't know. I feel like that's celebrating or like an homage to your oppressor somehow. I don't think it's this wonderful thing at all. And I don't know how to really steer people away from it. The worst thing that you could do is go and participate in things that conflict with your self-interest and the interests of all the people you know. And so, like, it's well noted in the U.S. how we, oh, there's the mate. Do you see that up there? She must have moved her nest to a high spot. She's about a little bit freaked out to get down. Anyway, again, I'm not as structured as I have been in some other videos, but I can see that we are really limiting ourselves, and in my case, I'm so happy to be around people I know, and I gain value from having these wonderful networks. The people in Kansas are probably more accessible and kinder than anywhere else I've been, in a way that doesn't involve a ton of strings attached. You can go to Southern Europe or Turkey or Latin America and have all of this stuff, but then the obligations and consequences against education, reading, and private time are immense. So that's very nice about here, but I can't help but feeling like I'm floundering a little bit, even though I'm personally saving money and advancing quietly. And I would say most of the people around me are not fully doing what they're supposed to be doing either. Although we're all kind of I can't think of the word. Resolved or at peace with it or whatever. And we need to be eating a lot healthier. We need to be reading more. We need to be spending money appropriately, but not overspending. You don't want all of your money sunk into a house or a car, because that money needs to circulate among the general population many more times. I just can't quite put my finger on how that needs to be expressed. And there are so many factors working against your time. We all have to be somewhat loyal to family and have this continuity of property and inheritances and so forth. But if it's at the expense of your mind, I don't really know where the happy medium is. And it just gets to where people are so predictable and such easy targets, I guess. And I know I've fallen into that many a time. Probably am doing it right now on some level too. But I just want to see people existing at a higher vibration, not necessarily doing these hugely noteworthy actions or getting all kinds of notoriety, but we could be living at a higher vibration generally. And if you're familiar with a lot of spiritual energy concepts, particularly from the Celestine prophecy, you'll know what I'm saying. And here comes some noise, so I'm going to stop there. Thanks, bye.